Oh, hello. So we are going to be on page 13 of the Unit 8 packet, Integers and Coordinate Plane. And today we are going to practice comparing and ordering integers. But right off the bat, I'm going to have you try something on your own here. So if you look on the top of page 13, there's a table here that includes the record low temperatures in Buffalo by month. And so what I want you to do is take a moment, and I want you to order those temperatures from coldest to warmest. So I'd ask you to pause the video and just take a moment to order these 6 numbers from coldest temperature to warmest. All right, pause it, go ahead. Unpause it when you're done. Okie doke, let's see what you got. Let's compare it to what I got. Now I'm looking for the coldest temperature first. I'm looking at the negatives then. Negative 16, negative 10, negative 20. I would think that the coldest temperature would be negative 20. After that, I'll look at the next 2 negative temperatures. Negative 16 seems to be colder than negative 10, so I'll put negative 16. The only negative left then would be negative 10. Then if you look at the positive numbers, 5, 32, and 25, 5 would be next, then 25, then 32. So when you think about it, the negative 20 is the coldest temperature of the 6. And the reason it's the coldest is because it's the farthest below 0. Okay? Then negative 16, which is farther below 0 than negative 10. All of these numbers, 5, 25, and 32, those are above 0. So when you're looking at the negative numbers, the ones that have less value are the ones that are farthest below 0. So if we had a temperature like negative 21 is even farther from 0 than negative 20, so that would be the coldest temperature. So today we're going to practice ordering integers like we just did. We're also going to compare them using some familiar symbols. So when you order them, make sure to keep that in mind. Like the farther a number away a number is from 0, if it's negative, the less value it has. Now that's actually opposite with the positive numbers. Look at this number line. You notice that as you move farther away from 0, these numbers are decreasing. So in negatives, the farther away you get from 0, the less the number is. With positive numbers, it's actually the opposite. With positive numbers, the farther you are away from 0, the more value it has. So it's kind of the opposite from positives and negatives. All right, here are the symbols that we're going to use. We got that symbol. Now that looks like the L, so that's the less than symbol. The other one's the greater than symbol, and we might even use the equal sign, perhaps today. Now, when I compare integers like this, I like to read it aloud. And if I don't read it aloud, I'll kind of like say it in my head. I'll kind of read the numbers out and say the symbol that I think would fit there. So for example, 12, negative 4. 12 is greater than negative 4. So between them, I'd put the greater than sign. Now you can also tell that 12 is greater because it's positive. Any positive number is greater than any negative number, and that will always be true. Now if you look at the one right below it, same thing. It's kind of the same thing. You have a positive number, you have a negative number. 6, negative 1. 6 is definitely greater than negative 1. So again, we're going to put the greater than symbol. But again, it's really important to actually kind of say the numbers out loud and maybe say it to yourself. The comparison, just to see if it makes sense to you. Negative 3, and you got negative 5. Well, negative 5 is farther from 0. It's farther below 0. So negative 5 is less. So negative 3 is actually greater than negative 5 because negative 3 is closer to 0. You can kind of see it at the number line here. Here's negative 3, here's negative 5. Negative 3 is closer to 0. So negative 3 is greater than negative 5. It's like sometimes you can think like, what temperature is colder? I'd rather be a negative 3, even though it's not that great, than negative 5. Negative 5 is colder, so it's less than. Negative 3 is greater. Same type of deal here. We have -2 and -4. Well, which one's closer to 0? -2 is closer to 0. So -2 would be greater than -4. So far, 4 greater thans. Let's see if we get something else here. All right. This one here, we got -5 and 0. Well, any negative is going to be less than a 0. So -5, or like -5 degrees below 0, is colder than 0 would be. So this is the first less than. Look at that. -5 is less than 0. Last one, we have a positive and a negative. So I know the positive is greater, but let's just kind of read it. 1 is greater than -3. Another greater than side. So a lot of greater than. It won't always be that way, but it was for that particular example. All right, let's look at an example like this. We're going to compare integers, and we're also going to think about what the comparison means. It says Justin has a score of -4 on the Trueville trivia game. Desiree's score is -5. Write an inequality to compare the scores. Explain the meaning of the inequality. All right, so the two numbers we're comparing are -4, and that's, I'm just going to put a J there, that's Justin, and -5, and that's Desiree. So both not doing too well. Justin has -4 points, Desiree is -5. Who's doing better, I guess? Justin's closer to 0. So he must have gotten like 4 wrong, and she may have gotten 5 wrong. So he's actually doing better. He's closer to getting back to 0. So Justin's score is greater than Desiree's. His is closer to 0, so I'm going to put the greater than symbol. So what does it mean? That means that, I'm going to write the meaning like right next to it. Justin is leading Desiree in trivia. He's up, and I put that in quotes because they both have negative points, but he's kind of up by 1. He is -4, she is -5. He's leading her by 1. I might even add that. By 1 point. All right, let's check this one. Temperature on Tuesday is 2 degrees. The temperature on Wednesday is -2 degrees. Write an inequality to compare the temperatures. Explain the meaning. Okay. Well, we're comparing 2 degrees on Tuesday, -2 degrees on Wednesday. Again, we have a positive and a negative. The positive is always going to be greater than the negative. So Tuesday, 2 degrees is warmer or greater than -2 degrees. So another greater than. Another greater than. I'm not sure what's going on here, but only one less than so far. All right. It says write an inequality to compare, explain the meaning. So what does it mean that Tuesday is greater than Wednesday? The temperature was greater on Tuesday than Wednesday. That's one way to explain it. Another way to say it is Tuesday was warmer than Wednesday. Now you might be thinking like how much warmer? Well, if you make like a little thermometer here, that's 0 degrees. Okay. +2 would be 1, 2 above. -2 would be 1, 2 below. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're 4 degrees apart. So Tuesday was 4 degrees warmer than Wednesday. Nice. Not that much warmer, though. They're both pretty cold, but Tuesday was warmer. If you're going to compare them like that. All right. Now, what we're going to do here is sort of what we did at the beginning with the temperatures. We're going to order these from least to greatest. Now, there is a number line there. We're going to do the number line last. I'm going to show you a strategy to order these numbers without the number line, and then we'll show how the answer is correct on the number line. When you order a set of integers like this, or any set of numbers, this one's from least to greatest. So I'm just going to write L here, G here. Just going to remind me, go least to greatest. Which of these numbers is the least? Well, I'm not looking at the positives because there are negatives in there. I'm just looking at the negatives. So when ordering least to greatest, I'm going to find the least valued number first. I have -9 and -3. I'll start there. Which one's farthest from 0 to get the least? That would be, negative 9. So we'll start there. Negative 9 has the least value. Notice I crossed it off. That's going to remind myself I've already dealt with that number. I don't have to put it on there again. Then, of course, the only other negative left would be negative 3. Cross that out. Then we have 0 and 6. Well, the next greatest number is 0, and then the greatest number would be 6. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in a set using brackets. These little brackets here show a set. So do the best you can. You kind of it's hard to explain, but you kind of make a little curve here, and then you make a bracket like that. I mean, it's hard. That explanation was pretty bad, but try your best to make a bracket. It's just a little bit different from parentheses, but a bracket will show a set of numbers. Okay, try your best. I'll write a big up here just so you can see what they look like. Big. It's like that. Okay. So whenever you see the brackets, you're looking at a set of numbers. All right, let's put these numbers on the number line just to check to make sure that these are in order from least to greatest. Negative 9 would be right here. Negative 3, 0, and 6. Well, it's kind of neat to see the numbers as they're ordered out here. Negative 9 looks like it's the least. It's the farthest from 0. Negative 3 is 3 ways. So that's just another way to check to make sure that you've ordered them right, to look at them on a number line like that. All right, let's try this next one here. Now, this one is tricky because if you don't read it carefully, you're going to write the wrong numbers. This says order the set negative 4, 3, 11, negative 25 from greatest to least. I'm going to go greatest to least. That's going to remind me to go from greatest to least. So this time I will start with the positives because I want the greater numbers first. The positives are 11 and 3. Which one's greater? Well, obviously 11. So we'll put 11 first. Then 3. So we got the two positives. Now we're looking at the negatives. Greatest to least. So which one's greater? Negative 4 or negative 25? Negative 4 is closer to 0. So it would be a greater negative. Have a greater value. Negative 25 is farther from 0, so it's less. It's farther away. So that negative 25 is going to go here. We'll do our little bracket as best we can. Make sure you put the bracket on there to show the set. And there we go. All right, let's go greatest to least. So we'll start with 11, which is going to be closer to 10 than 15. Then 3, which is going to be closer to 5 than 0. Negative 4. So negative 4 is on the right side of negative 5, but it's kind of close to negative 5. And luckily, negative 25 is right on there. There it is. So again, we went from greatest to least. Did it right in order. Okay, if you want to try this one on your own, go for it. If not, you do it with me, but we're going to order the set from least to greatest. Least to greatest. So if I'm going least to greatest, first I'm looking at the negatives. Least between negative 18 and negative 6 would be negative 18. That's the farthest from 0. The farther it is from 0 as a negative, the less it is in value. The only other negative would be negative 6. And then the rest of them are kind of easy because they're positive. So the least of the positives would be 3, and then 12, and then 30. Okie dokie. Let's put those numbers on the number line. So we'll start with the least, negative 18. That's right on there, negative 18. Then negative 6. 3, which is halfway between 0 and 6. 12, and 30. So it looks like we went in order, least to greatest. Nice. Nice. All right. So I'm going to get you started with this one, and then I want you to try the rest of the page. So if there's 3 or 4 other problems, I'll explain the other 3 once we get you started here. So it says the table shows the lowest elevation for several continents. Order the elevations from least to greatest. So here are the different elevations. you want least to greatest. So normally an elevation is like how far is something above, or in this case below sea level. So if it's above sea level, like a mountain elevation, that's going to be in the thousands of meters above sea level. But since these are the lowest elevations, because it's negative, that's telling us these elevations are probably below sea level. Okay? So we're going to order these from least to greatest. So I'm going to start my bracket. The first thing we're looking for is the least. Now, this is a little tricky because all of these are negative. All of them are negative. So we want to find the one that's the least. That's the one that's farthest from zero in the negative as a negative value. So which one's farthest from zero? It looks like it would be negative 418. Whoop. Okay, so I'm going to have you finish that one. Okay. And then I'm just going to explain the rest of them. So for these four here, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to compare them using less than or greater than. Okay. Use the less than or greater than symbols to compare. This one here is just like the ones we did at the bottom of page 13. You're gonna write in inequality, comparing the two numbers, and then you're going to explain what it means. The last one, and this is kind of similar to what we did at the very beginning, you're going to order the temperatures from least to greatest. So we're going to finish this one and then try the rest of the problems on this page. Again, for this one, you can use the examples on the bottom of page 13 to help you think about the meaning. When you're done with those, I'll put the answers on a Google Doc. You can check those, but please try these on your own before checking your answers. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. If not, have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.